So let's chat about this idea of truly listening and then recalling a few simple instructions. Basically, step one, where you have to, demonstrate that you can pick up 3 to 5 instructions.
Yeah, right. Because it's not just about hearing words, it's about really storing that info. Why do you think that matters so much?
Exactly. It's like you have to concentrate and make sure you're focused. If you're distracted, maybe by background noise or your own thoughts, you risk missing important bits that could lead to
Uh huh.
mistakes later on.
And it's pretty interesting that they build on the idea of listening without interrupting, isn't it? Because sometimes we think we know it all already, right?
Yep, and that's a key point. The material stresses that sometimes people assume they already know what to do. But then when the real instructions are given, those assumptions can, lead to errors. It's like expecting to ride a bike without actually paying attention to instructions on balance.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it almost seems obvious that you should just stop distractions, but in practice, it's super hard. What are some techniques they suggest for uh, concentrating?
They break it down into a neat 3 step approach. Stop anything distracting, focus on the speaker, and then repeat the instructions in your head. It's like resetting your mind.
Yeah, right. That really makes sense. Like, if you're cleaning or writing something down, you're intentionally zoning in on the task. But do you think it's always realistic in a noisy environment?
Good point. In real life scenarios, you might have multiple distractions, background noise, chatter, even visual clutter. This approach is ideal, but sometimes you might need extra strategies. I mean, breaking the instructions into smaller, digestible chunks can help too, right?
Yeah. So, when we talk about storing these instructions, it's all about using our working memory first. But wait, don't we ultimately need to shift them into long term memory?
Precisely. You've got short term working memory where you handle 3 simple instructions, but for tasks that require more details, you'd need to either visualize or even write them down, like um, picturing the steps or even linking them to, say, a familiar pattern or sequence you already know.
Yeah, I see that. And isn't there also an element of visualization here? How exactly does that help with recalling instructions?
Absolutely. Visualizing yourself carrying out the steps, maybe imagining yourself arranging objects as instructed, it makes the instructions more tangible. It's like creating a mental checklist that you can revisit when needed.
Hmm. You know, one thing that struck me was that they advise to break up instructions if there are more than 3 steps. I get that. But what if a task naturally has a lot of steps? Isn't that a bit too limiting?
I can see where you're coming from. On one hand, it's about managing cognitive load. On the other, real world tasks can be quite complex, but that's why they also suggest writing down additional steps or breaking them into subsets. It's a balance between mental retention and utilizing external aids.
Yes, absolutely. And what about the reflection questions mentioned? They ask us to think about situations where remembering instructions is critical. It really makes you evaluate your own practices, huh?
Exactly. It's interesting because it nudges you to consider, like, when do I really have to remember instructions accurately? What happens if I misremember? It's a reminder that in settings like work or even daily life, failing to follow instructions can lead to
Right, can't
mistakes
argue
or
with
even
that.
safety issues.
Yes, safety and precision are definitely high on the list there. And then there's also the teaching element. How a teacher can model this process through, say, pair exercises where one person gives instructions and the other enacts them.
Uh-huh. That hands-on practice reinforces the idea. It's clever because it not only tests your ability to listen and remember, but also shows you how to actively apply it in a supportive learning environment.
Yeah, I really like that it emphasizes regular practice in the classroom. It's one thing to just know the steps, it's another to, like, actually do them repeatedly until they become second nature.
Totally. And there's that idea of gradual release. At first, teachers provide explicit cues like stop, focus, repeat, but over time, as learners get confident, those cues fade.
hmm I wonder though, do you think some learners might still struggle despite all these measures? I mean, what if someone's naturally more distracted?
That's a fair challenge. I mean, not everyone's mind gears work identically. For those individuals, maybe additional strategies like having a quieter space or using audio recordings could help reinforce the process. It's about adapting to individual needs.
That makes sense. And this step, as laid out, really becomes like a foundation skill. Get it right, and you're set for future steps where instructions might be longer or more complex.
Exactly, it's foundational. If you can't recall three simple instructions reliably, you're going to struggle when tasks get more complicated or when you're expected to follow precise guidelines in a professional setting.
Right, yeah. So, in practice, it's about active listening and engaging your memory in real time. That, coupled with a bit of self awareness on when you might be distracted, seems to be the key takeaway.
Yeah, that's the heart of it. And by training oneself with these exercises, learners essentially build like a mental muscle. It's muscle memory for
Exactly.
listening, so to speak.
I really appreciate how this insistence on stopping distractions, focusing, and repeating is so directly applicable, whether you're in a classroom or at work. It's practical advice that can be implemented daily.
Right. It's not just academic, it's life skills. And it starts small. Remembering three instructions might seem trivial, but it establishes a disciplined approach to learning and attention.
Absolutely. Also, I like how they detail the practical application, like the pair work, where one partner relays a set of instructions to the other. It makes the process interactive, which I think is more engaging than just a lecture.
For sure, interactive methods work wonders because they require both sides to actively participate. You're testing understanding on the spot. It reinforces learning and builds confidence too.
True. And tying it all back, it's amazing how something as simple as recalling instructions can impact things like safety, efficiency, and overall productivity.
Exactly. When you can trust that you've accurately processed instructions, you're less likely to make errors or get into precarious situations. It's like the underlying mechanism of effective communication.
Yeah, precisely. So, what do you think is the biggest challenge for people when it comes to these listening strategies?
Well, I'd say the main struggle is overcoming habitual distractions and the tendency to assume familiarity with tasks. People often think, I know what to do already, and that can undermine focus.
Right, I can see that. And maybe if we all practice that stop, focus, repeat process a bit more, it could really transform how we absorb instructions in everyday life, huh?
Absolutely, it's like building a stronger mental framework for effective communication. With consistent practice, these steps can soon become as natural as breathing.
Yeah, exactly. Overall, it's clear that these principles are not only beneficial for classroom learning, but for almost every aspect of life. Thanks for breaking that down.
No problem at all. The core idea, active focused listening and deliberate mental rehearsal, is something we can all apply, whether we're in a meeting or just following directions from a friend.
Indeed, right. Great chat. And here's to better listening and remembering, one step at a time.